Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. January's theme is the magic of renewal for the collective. The dragons have come forward, as well as Merlin and other entities and beings that we will be working with. My friend Sue Davy, she is an excellent source of working with the dragons, and we asked her to come on and speak with us so that she could share her knowledge. So, welcome, Sue.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I'm excited for this. The dragons are excited as well.
I'm glad that that we were able to connect. The time you're in the UK and I'm here in the US, so it took a little bit of maneuvering with the times
Yeah.
to make sure that we connected well. So I've known you for quite a while. So I guess one of the questions would be, how long have you been working with the dragons?
I've recently reconnected with them. It was only when I was sat in meditation with one of my other guides that I realized that going back about 2, 3 years was the first connection that I had with the dragons. And the kind of information that I got from my guide was I wasn't 100% ready at that time because I had other stuff going on in my life that I wasn't in the right place to work with them, um, although they were waiting. But my other guide was also, he was bringing through dragon energy quite a lot, and I knew that they were around. And then fast forwarding, it was just like all of a sudden, I had a reading with another friend of mine, and then all of a sudden, the dragons were just like boom, boom, boom everywhere. And it was just like, oh, I think I'm ready now. I think I'm ready now. So yeah, so definitely I would say the past 6 months has been very, very dragon led with the work that I'm doing.
It's so wonderful to hear. And I had a question about, are they in a particular realm or where do they reside? I know it's an
They're
odd question.
everywhere. No, 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 no. It's not an odd question at all. And I will say that there may be times when I feel like they're going to channel through me rather than me speaking because they can explain it better than what I can. Apparently, according to the main one, she's like stood there like. Shoop. Um, there's not a one particular dragon realm. Well, for me, there isn't. I mean, other people work with dragons, and I don't know how they work with the dragons. But for me, they've said there's no one particular realm. We have the earth dragons, we have the galactic dragons, we have the water dragons, we have the air dragons, and it's they're everywhere. They because they're energetic as well. Dragons are everywhere and all places and all at the same time as well. Like most of our guides, they're very multi-dimensional with their energy. So I could have my dragon working with me here, but she could also be in your space with you at the same time. It's that kind of energy.
And it's perfectly okay if they want to come forward and
Mm.
speak through you, anything that we may need to know. So, you kind of touched on that they kind of were working in the background until you were ready. So,
Mm.
do they choose to be in the background, or do they, like you were talking about, we're waiting for you to be ready?
I think they were waiting for me to be ready because at the time I was going through, and I don't need to go into the whole backstory of it, but I was going through some rough stuff in a previous relationship. And spiritually, I wasn't in a space to work, even with my regular guides. I mean, we all know Jimmy. Um, and I was struggling with him a little bit as well. But bless his heart, he kept me going. They are in the background. And basically, with the dragons, they wait for what they call their dragon keepers or their dragon riders. And we've all had that connection. Majority of us have had that connection in a past life with the dragons where we've been a dragon keeper or a dragon rider. So we kind of like have our own, let's say, set of dragons. How would we describe this? We have our own thunder of dragons that we work with, that we have worked with in previous lives. And then what they do is they kind of watch in the background and they see how, and again, this is from my observation of working with them. Other people might have different ways, but from my observation, it was coming through that like they wanted to make sure that I was in a space energetically to work with that frequency. Because even now, talking about the dragons, I'm like heating up and I can feel myself getting really, really hot. And I still haven't quite balanced the energy yet. So anytime I talk dragons, I end up glowing like it's like someone's just lit a fire, and I'm like, woof. But we're getting there. It's not as bad as it was.
But
I
but
used to look
you're
like a beetroot.
Yeah, my experience with the dragons is they tend to be like right now my hands are all hot, and so in the past when I've worked with dragons here and there, not to the extent that you are, I could really feel like the heat around me and the actually some playfulness because they're not always so serious. There are
Oh,
times when they can be playful. So
mm.
my understanding is that they choose with who they want to work with, and they probably like do they choose not to work with certain people, or do they how does
It's
that
not.
work? I mean, like if someone didn't know anything about the dragons and they wanted to work with them, do they like look at that person and say yes or no?
It's like how do I put this?
Inquiring minds want to
So
know, Sue.
the inquiring minds need to know, which is a perfectly yes, because as in normal life, we may not all necessarily get on with each other, right? There may be a like a friction in our energy that we might you might like someone that I don't particularly like, and vice versa. And that's that is life. With the beings, although everybody goes, oh, they're all love and everything, yes, they are. It's not so much that they don't like you, it's an energetic match. It's if
Ah,
your frequency matches their frequency. And like I said, at the moment, I mean, my main dragon, Seraphina, she's very powerful. She's huge. She's massive, and she's lovely. She's very motherly. She can be stern sometimes, and she does tell me off. But when she first came in, it literally, like, if you can imagine, it was like one of her wings had knocked me sideways. And for a few days, I was just like, what the is going on? Because, like, then I'm tapping into Jimmy, and I'm like, what's going on? And he said, remember when I first turned up? You didn't know how to accept my energy. You didn't know how my energy was going to be. So it's a gradual thing where you will, your energy sort of comes into alignment. If, and they don't sort of like just walk away after a day, they will give you time. So if after, say, 7 to 14 days, you're still not quite, it's not balanced, and you're still going, this is wiping me out. I really can't handle this. They literally come in and they will say to you, we are not matched yet. But it's not a never, never. It's just we are not matched yet. And it could be the fact that you've still got some work to do, some inner work to do on yourself. And then all of a sudden, a couple of years down the line, you'll get the image of that dragon will suddenly come in. You're like, oh, hello. And you're matched again, and you do energetically match. So it's not the case of like they don't like us or we don't like them. It's literally all about the energy and where you are on your journey. And like you've done your work, I've done my work, so we can assimilate their energy better than maybe someone who's just starting out on this spiritual journey.
what type of messages do they carry for us now?
One of the messages that Serafina brings in quite a lot, and she basically tells me it's just quite. This is she's bringing forth the fact that this is for like a collective as well to stop getting so. Um, Hang on, now I'm trying to channel it. It's just like now I'm trying to find English. Right, I'm trying to put this into English. Behave. So where the collective energy, there's like layers of collective energy, and there's different layers of still going on of poverty and scarcity and lack and worry and the war and anger and stuff like that. And she said these are literally energetic layers that have been placed before us with our ancestors, with people that have gone before us, and with current people now who are still buying into all that energetic discord that's going on. Their advice is to try as much as possible to disconnect from it. And that does mean not listening to the news, not listening, not getting energetically attached to stuff you read on social media, not getting energetically attached to stuff that you read in newspapers or you hear. And what I do when I'm out in the car, as soon as the news comes on, I turn my radio down. So I'm
Yeah.
not listening to the news, literally. And then when I know the news is done, then I'll turn it up and then I'm singing or I say attempting to sing along to the songs. But the message is just to try and keep your own energy as vibrationally high as you can, because the more people on the collective that can send ripples of love and joy and peace and harmony out, that love is the highest power for everything. Love will dissolve everything. And the more people that can send the love out, the more ripples, it's like throwing a stone into the pond. The more ripples of love we can send out, the better that we can make the whole world and the planet, and also for our future generations as well.
Do the dragons feel that they have been um, rep- uh, repressed? I don't think I'm using the right word. Kind of silenced. Do you think society over the years or hundreds of years have kind of repressed their, what's the word I want to use? They're like kind of just like don't believe in the dragons, repress it, and don't they're not real and things. Do you think society over time has done that, and maybe what is the reason behind that?
Okay, I will say that my dragon has got a sense of humour, and she has said that they have been in the Chinese zodiac for many years.
Yeah.
People are aware of the dragon, they know that they exist. It's personal belief whether people choose to tap into their energy. But she said, we are there in that 12-year cycle of the Chinese zodiac. We are here, we are present, and we will continue to work with the collective, and we will continue to work with those individuals who are just waiting for the call, basically.
So she's not bothered by that because she knows that, collectively, not maybe not everybody does, but, there are people that do acknowledge them in different
There is
cultures.
so many people. Do you know, I tell you, Lisa Joe, since I've reconnected back into the dragon realm, everywhere I see now on Instagram. I mean, you sent me that post on
Yeah,
Instagram for a
yeah.
start. You know what I mean? Kuka sent it to me as well. Funny enough, I got it twice. Um, yeah, that there's dragons there. Then I'll see something else, and something else. There'll be dragons coming up, and then I'll go somewhere else, and I'll hear. I mean, I was driving along in my car a few weeks ago, and the song came on the radio, and the group's name is Imagine Dragons,
Oh,
and I'm like, yeah, all right. Okay, I'm getting it. I'm getting it. So
confirmations.
confirmations, validations, however you want to call it. I feel like it's like with anything. Once they're talked about more, and it's like with guides. I mean, come on, angels. Everybody knows about the angels. You know,
Right.
Archangel Michael, Raphael, and all the some of the lesser known angels. Everybody knows about the angels. It's because they've been very much at the forefront of spirituality. But then you've got the fairy realm, the unicorns, the dragons, and everything else. It's all there. It's always been there. It's never gone away. It's just having that belief in yourself and belief in them. And then even just a whisper of that belief, they will start coming into your reality more.
So, I would say, what is the best way to connect with them if they are willing to work, like a person is willing to work with the dragons? Do you think that, like you were just saying, they would get little signs of, seeing a dragon
Mm.
here or seeing a dragon there? Or is it the
You'd get you.
desire that they want to work with and whether they're energetically ready to work with them?
Yeah, I mean for me, like I said, I didn't realize until like previous on in the year that I was that connected with them. It was only when I actually took some time and I was doing something and I can't remember what something I was doing. I suddenly thought, oh, hang on a minute. I remember science about the dragons back then, and then something about the dragons back then. So it's like a remembrance. It's like an ancient wisdom that you've carried with you
Hmm.
on your past lives. So it's kind of like you've been a dragon rider, or you've been a dragon keeper, or even a fire keeper in a previous life, and you've worked with dragon energy, and then something will come in that will start a remembrance in your subconscious, and then that will just grow and grow and grow, and then all of a sudden you'll start seeing stuff about dragons everywhere. I mean, there could be people that are going to watch this, and from this conversation, all of a sudden dragons are just going to be popping up everywhere, and they're going to be like, why am I seeing so many dragons? It's because they're ready to work with you. That's why. Basically, they're just waiting
And they're
to come
not
in.
to be feared. Some people think that, I don't, but some people feel like maybe it's not something they should do or be involved with, or they have fear. And when that happens, I think that you kind of prejudge them.
Mm. And then you shut yourself down as
Yeah,
well. And I
yeah.
think, again, as well, Lisa Joe, it's because of how they've been depicted in the past.
Hmm.
They've been depicted as these fire breathing, massive flying, I don't know,
Destruction.
destruction,
Yeah, yeah.
basically, destruction and disruption. Whereas that's how they've been depicted. Whereas you get like unicorns are trotting around with a little horn and the rainbows, all happy, like, woohoo, like that. I mean, it could have been the other way round. The unicorns could have come charging in with their horns, and the dragons could have just been like flying around like fairies, and then we would have had a fear of the unicorns. It's all of because of how previously they've been depicted to us. I mean, in England, we've got George and the Dragon, George slayed the dragon.
Yeah.
Um, but then that was kind of like, I can't even go into the whole thing of that because it wasn't literally what they said it was a dragon. It was something to do with whatever, and I can't remember. Um, it's like with anything. The TV and film world have a lot to answer for when they depict anything like that.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
makes
you can
sense.
watch,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like some films you can watch about angels, and then you've got, that there's bad angels and there's good angels. Yeah.
So, how do you see the dragons as connected with this month's theme was energy of the renewal for the collective? How do you feel that, or how do you see, or how do they see connecting and helping us through our theme in January for January?
I feel, they feel, who's doing this, me or you? Make up your mind. We feel, when I go to the we now, we feel that with the renewal and with obviously 2026 is being a 1 year as well. So it's a total fresh start for everybody, a total new beginnings for everybody. They're coming through as with the flame, they burn away the old. And once they burn away that old, from the ashes will rise the new. And that's how they're showing me with the collective. With the previous 9 year cycle that we had up to 2025, that was a gradual burning down of everything that we thought we were, felt that we were, and also who Other people kind of told us who we should have been and how we should have been. And what they're saying to me now is that moving forward into the new year, that's all going to change. We're going to come into this with a new sense of confidence, security, and safety. And I said the main one out of that for all of us is the feeling of being safe and being held and being seen, being heard, and being recognized. And they, as coming in with the dragon energy, they said the more people that can see them, the more they will see us. And then we can be all lifted up together, as in like the rising of the phoenix, because the dragon energy and the phoenix energy do work together. And as a collective dragon energy, they can help clear the way and clear the old debris out to make it a smoother way for us if we choose to take that path. It's all about choice again. They can only, like with the angels, it's all about free will. They can step in when we want them to. And if we're saying, yeah, come on, give us a hand, they're like, yeah, we're there.
Um, well, this has been very interesting. I know that you have like a little quiz that
Yeah,
people can take and to find out can you what the dragon is that they're
the
attracted to.
dragon frequency.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so can you explain any of that? And is there a link that other people can see
You can
that
get
little
to it.
quiz?
Yeah, there is a link. It's actually I've got a link tree link. Um, if you go to my Instagram, which is Seraphina Dragon Priestess, the Seraphina part is spelled Seraphina, and then Dragon Priestess. If you go onto my Instagram, there's a link tree link, and then you just click on the link, and it will take you to the quiz. It was just a fun thing. I was just like, I wanted to try and do, and it was testing my technology as well, right? And I put the idea into Chat GPT, and I was like, I want to do this. And then they suggested that I did it on one platform, and I was trying to do it, and it just wasn't working. I was like, I can't, nothing's doing what I got to the point where I thought, I'm just not going to bother. And anyway, I found this other platform, which was Jotform, and then I managed to work my way through it. It was like having ChatGPT as my teacher. Like, right, do you do this? You put this number in, then you put that number in. Um, so basically, it's working with the five elements: earth, air, fire, water, and cosmos. So there's 8 questions, and my advice when you go to do the questions is just sit with it, read the question, and it's like a multiple choice. Read the question and just feel into it. Whatever answer comes into your head first, click that button and then click next, and it will take you on to the next question. Once you get to the last question, then it will trigger what energy, what dragon energy is working with you at this moment in time. And the reason I say this moment in time is because things could shift and you could come
Yeah.
back and do that quiz in 6 months' time and get a completely different dragon energy working with you. So it's a fun thing to do.
And we'll provide a link under this interview. We'll provide the link in the comments so they don't, they'll have that direct link
Oh,
there.
brilliant. Thank
I
you.
know some of the questions were like, well, that applies to me, so does this one. It's like, and it was like, okay, I can only pick one. Why can't I pick more than one? I'm like, but sometimes I'm like this and sometimes like that. And I was like stuck with it. But I like the idea of whatever kind of resonated with you, the choices first is probably the right one.
Mm.
And don't overthink it. I'm kind of an
Yeah,
overthinker
don't overthink.
sometimes.
That's another thing. Yeah, yeah, because I did the quiz once it was all done, and I thought it was like, right, I'm going to go and do a run through of the quiz, and I was just like, oh, actually, well, and because I'd literally just put it all together, I was a bit frazzled anyway, and I was just like, I don't know if I like that question. I don't know if I want to change that. I think I should change that question. And I'm thinking, no, honestly, leave it. And I literally stopped. I went and made myself a cup of tea, and I went in the garden, and I was just like, dragon energy and got them to clear my energy for me, and they just came in with this beautiful flame and just went um and then yeah, I went back and sat down and was like do, and this is it. I was like, there, that makes sense.
So, since Merlin is going to be also, since Merlin is in this month's theme, that one of the people that we're working with, how does he work with the dragons, or how do the dragons work with him, or do they work together? So, inquiring minds.
No, it was just the minute you turned around and said, "How does he work with the dragons?" She said, "Carefully."
Oh, yeah. That's
um,
funny.
yeah, they. So I also reconnected back in with Merlin as well, which obviously working with the dragons, and he's like stood right next to me right this moment, and it's quite funny because he finds it amusing. Because also when you see Merlin, he comes across as quite serious looking. But he's really not. He's got a really random, weird sense of humor. But he said no. My apologies. He said no. Working with the dragons, it's because of he's always been connected with the magic and the fire of the dragons, and he's he the way he works with the dragons is they do work alongside each other, and he consults with the dragons, and the dragons will consult with him, and they don't always necessarily agree, but they so I've lost my track now. What was the question?
It was about Merlin working with the dragons and vice versa, the dragons working with him. And then
Right.
he said it was very carefully.
Carefully, yeah. So the combined energy, the whole magic of working with the dragons, everything it in the realm of the dragons and in the realm of Merlin, it's very, very magical, mystical. Um, and some of the stuff they actually do together, it's actually still not shared with their human
Well, that's
person.
good. I respect that. They have their own boundaries and
Yeah,
everything.
exactly. And this is what Merlin's coming in with as well. Merlin is also saying that also for a lot of people, he feels that 2026 is going to be where people learn and understand how to strengthen their boundaries and also how to reinforce their boundaries. And he's also saying, and he said, for a lot of people, this is the hardest one, but family boundaries, which are the hardest to set, are the most important ones to set. He said, because friends, it's easier in a way because they're not so related, you're not blood tied.
Hmm.
But when it comes to family, he's saying to be really mindful of the boundaries that you set and please don't let people overstep the mark. Remember that you are your own person and you're not here to be
Small.
talked down to, pushed
Yeah.
around,
Not.
dumbed down, and made small.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So,
that's coming through very strong from him.
yeah, and I kind of that came up for me a few days ago with a friend of the conversation of how sometimes we make ourselves small because of other people or because
Mm.
we're afraid that they may judge us. And it's like, here I am 65 and I'm still, wondering how people are going to think about what I do and whether they agree or not. And finally, it was, I think a couple of days ago, I actually posted something with an event that you and I both were in. And I was like, well, it is what I do. And at 65, I shouldn't be asking for approval. And so it was a big learning curve, but I felt very good after I kind of stop making myself so small. I think it was
Mm.
just having that conversation of it might be a conversation that, others might not want to hear, or I don't have to have a conversation with them, but this is who I
Mm.
am. and this is what I do. So I'm so happy that you came and shared your experience with the dragons
No, thank you
and
for having me. It's
actually
been amazing.
and a little bit about Merlin as well. Can you tell us, and we will have all of this information down in the comments as well, or up in the description, because we've done this interview separately because of the conflicting hours of Julia, myself, and you. So we will have all these links, but tell us how people can contact you.
My main go-to now, to be honest, is Instagram. So Instagram is Seraphina Dragon Priestess, which is Seraphina. So Seraphina Dragon Priestess. Facebook, I'm just Sue Davey, which is SUDAVEY. You can find me on there. Um, but yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed this opportunity. So thank you to the pair of you for, allowing me to come on with the wisdom of the dragons and share, and Merlin, who's like a child sometimes. But anyway,
But
but yeah, they've actually behaved quite well. I'm quite impressed because sometimes, I mean, you know what Jimmy used to be like. I was like,
mm,
oh my God.
I will say for those who don't know that you have a modality of, and I don't know whether to call it a modality, but you have dragon codes. Did you want to kind of touch basis on that?
I do have the dragon codes, and you, Mrs., are part of my dragon codes
Yes, I am.
because because the beautiful Lisa Joe was actually one of my original Galactic Activation ladies that signed up to work with the Galactic Activations, and then I thought the next big thing was going to be the Galactic Seals, which did come in. But then, in the midst of all the of all the Galactic Seals, all of a sudden the dragons suddenly come in and like, no, 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 this is the way to go. So we do have the dragon codes. I'm currently up to House 10 of the dragon codes, which that equates to about 56 different dragon codes at the moment. So it's like an energetic coding, energetic remembering of who you are. It's an energetic releasing of what is no longer needed. For example, we do have the witch wound, which is not very often talked about, but for a lot of women, the witch wound is what holds us back and what doesn't allow us to speak our truth and to step forward because we were so many times persecuted for being witches, healers, the wise women of the villages, and we were persecuted so many times. So we do have a witch wound clearings for that.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
basically, it comes in.
it's like if you were just like a healer in a village or something and you weren't a witch, they still deemed you as a witch. So a lot
Mm,
of women who were their feminine energy was out there, they tried to suppress it, and then, you're not thinking like us, so you must be a witch. And it doesn't mean that you were actually a witch, and then maybe some of them were, but it's just the fact that you were maybe accused of being a witch, and that kind of stayed with you through the different generations that come through and the
yeah.
different reincarnations. So I did feel there was a release when I did that particular dragon code, and it's amazing how it's so simple to go
Yeah.
through it.
Yeah, but you know me. I can't do complicated. It was like when the galactic
Yeah.
activations come through, I was like, I literally sat and I said, I just want my own modality, but I'm not one for complicated. I don't want no fluff. I just want something that's like going to be simple. It does what it says on the tin and we're done. And also for teaching it, I just want it simple. And that's when they give me the galactic activation. So when the dragon code started coming through, I'm like, right, before we get into all this energetic stuff, right?
I'm
We
working
want
on a
simple.
different project. It's just
Yeah, I'm working on galactic seals, but anyway, let's do right. I want simple. I want it quick. I want it snappy. I want it just to be boom, boom, boom. And then all of a sudden, I was sat there one day and I was like, can we do this like a remote transmission? And of course, they're going, well, of course you can. It's energy. And then I'm like getting the like, you daft girl, of course you can. Like, and I'm like, yeah, right. Because they do tell me off, but it's fun. So yeah, we can actually do the transmission. And I did send one to a friend of mine to test it out, and it works. She actually see the dragon coming around her and everything, which was amazing. So we can actually send the dragon codes out remotely. So obviously for those with the time zones, different time zones or whatever, um, as a practitioner, we can send the energy up, and then your client can then call the energy in at a time that's best for them. I would say best time would probably be as they're going to bed for them to call the energy in, and then they're relaxed, they're going off to sleep. The dragons can come in and go, let's do our work, shoo! And then they wake up in the morning, drink plenty of water, and off they go. But yeah, it's interesting. Watch your space, Lisa Joe, because there might be other stuff coming in at the. We were already up to house. We're already up to house 10. I mean, I don't know where this is going to take us, but it's going to be an interesting journey for us.
Well, I think you've done really well, and I appreciate you coming in and sharing everything. And again, we'll have all of your links posted where if they would like to get a hold of you, they can do that. You are in UK, so
Mm.
we have people from Japan, all around the world, in New Zealand and things like that. So they can also contact with you. But I am excited that you came on here and you shared kind of their view, and they were willing to come forward. Um, Actually, Julie and I knew since the end of November that we were going to be working with them in January, so they were ready to come forward. And after some conversation between Julie and I, we thought this would be a better way of starting January the 2026
Mm.
through the year, because they could help support the different ways that they do things. So I want to
Especially
thank
going
you.
into the 1 year as well. So
Yeah.
I think to be honest, by doing this, you're going to be raising more awareness around the dragons. And I'm excited to see just how many of your viewers now suddenly go, oh, actually, dragons, yes. And oh, I know about the dragons, or I've felt the dragons, or the dragons have been trying to connect in with me. So I'm very honoured to been asked to be on here. So thank you both for that opportunity as well. It's nice to be able to share what I do, and the dragons are also very happy and very honoured that they've had their moment to be able to be seen as and be heard as well. So they bow their head in reverence and say thank you for that.
Well, we thank them for coming forward, and I thank you so much for taking time out of your day to meet with me. So we're going to go close this. All the links will be within the description, and I would like to thank everyone for being here. So, bye.
Thank you. Bye.